The art of quiet elimination for a life of intention. In the cacophony of modern existence, where the relentless pursuit of more success, more connections, more possessions, often leaves us feeling overwhelmed and adrift, a counterintuitive path emerges, the art of quiet elimination. Instead of perpetually adding to the already overflowing plate of our lives, what if true improvement lay in the deliberate and discerning act of letting go? What if, by quietly shedding the burdens that no longer serve us, the mental clutter, the emotional baggage, the unproductive habits, we could create a spaciousness for clarity, for peace, and for a deeply felt sense of purpose to take root and flourish? This episode unveils a transformative journey inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, exploring 10 subtle yet profound shifts we can make to quietly eliminate the unnecessary from our lives, cultivating a life lived with greater intention, inner calm, and unwavering focus. These are not surface-level tweaks or fleeting trends demanding external validation, but rather deep and lasting changes in mindset and behavior, empowering us to break free from the tyranny of external expectations and embrace the liberating power of self-respect and contentment. Imagine releasing the paralyzing fear of others' opinions, gracefully severing ties with toxic relationships that drain your energy, relinquishing the illusion of control over the uncontrollable, and silencing the incessant digital clamor that disrupts your inner peace. These are not merely superficial adjustments, they are fundamental recalibrations, deep shifts in perspective and action that can liberate us from the shackles of anxiety, the weight of unnecessary burdens, and the relentless pursuit of fleeting external validation. This path of quiet elimination is a journey of self-discovery, a process of stripping away the layers of conditioning and expectation that obscure our true selves, revealing the inherent strength, resilience, and wisdom that lie dormant within. It's a recognition that true transformation often occurs not with a bang, but with a whisper, a quiet act of courage, a deliberate choice to let go of what no longer serves us and embrace a life of greater authenticity and purpose. By the episode's conclusion, you will have a roadmap, a clear and actionable guide, to begin this process of quiet transformation, empowering you to eliminate the obstacles that impede your progress and cultivate a life of intention and inner peace. Prepare to embark on a journey of self-discovery, where the art of letting go becomes the key to unlocking a life of profound freedom, self-respect, and enduring contentment. 10 subtle shifts for lasting transformation. How much of your precious time, your finite energy, and your irreplaceable life have you unknowingly surrendered to the insidious fear of others' opinions? It's a subtle and pervasive force, often operating beneath the surface of our conscious awareness, subtly shaping our actions, our words, and even our aspirations. We hesitate to voice our true ideas, second-guess our decisions, and shy away from venturing beyond the well-worn paths of our comfort zone, all because of the imagined judgment of others. Over time, this insidious fear can morph into a self-imposed prison, confining us to a smaller, quieter version of ourselves, where our choices are dictated by the pursuit of external approval rather than the authentic expression of our inner selves. We become adept at playing a role, performing for an audience of imagined critics, sacrificing our genuine desires at the altar of perceived acceptance. Yet, a profound truth, often obscured by the clamor of our anxieties, remains: people simply aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. Each individual is engrossed in their own intricate tapestry of worries, insecurities, and daily struggles, their attention primarily focused on navigating the complexities of their own lives. The fear of others' opinions thrives on the illusion that we are constantly under scrutiny, that every action is meticulously observed and mercilessly judged. But the reality is far more liberating. Most people are too preoccupied with their own internal dramas to devote more than a fleeting moment to analyzing our choices. Even if, on occasion, someone does pass judgment, the Stoics implore us to ask ourselves a crucial question: what real impact does their opinion have on my life? Does their judgment pay my bills, fuel my dreams, or shape the essence of my experiences? In the vast majority of cases, the answer is a resounding no. Their fleeting thoughts, their subjective biases, their limited perspectives, these are all external forces that hold no inherent power over our well-being unless we grant them that power. Once this realization sinks in, once we truly grasp the optional nature of the weight we've been assigning to others' opinions, we begin to understand the profound freedom that lies in letting go. Stoicism offers a potent antidote to this debilitating fear, a framework for reclaiming our inner sovereignty and aligning our actions with our authentic selves. Epictetus, a towering figure in Stoic philosophy, taught that we should channel our energy toward cultivating what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes, while gracefully accepting the limitations of our influence over external circumstances. We cannot control how others perceive us, nor can we dictate their thoughts or opinions. But we can, with unwavering resolve, control how much we allow their judgments to affect our inner peace and our outward actions. He famously stated, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This is not an endorsement of ignorance or a call to reckless disregard for social norms. Rather, it is an invitation to embrace the discomfort that often accompanies personal growth, the acceptance that genuine progress often requires us to step outside the confines of conventional thinking and risk being misunderstood or judged by those who cling to the status quo. How, then, do we begin to dismantle this deeply ingrained fear and reclaim the freedom to live authentically? The first step is to cultivate awareness. Become a vigilant observer of your own thoughts and behaviors, noticing the moments when the fear of judgment surfaces. The next time you hesitate to take an action, to voice an opinion, or to pursue a dream because you're worried about what someone might think, pause and ask yourself, am I acting in alignment with my values, or am I acting out of fear? If the answer is fear, challenge it. Interrogate the source of your anxiety. What is the worst that could realistically happen if you were to defy this imagined judgment? In most cases, the worst-case scenario is far less catastrophic than your mind makes it out to be. To bolster your resilience against the sting of judgment, engage in a simple yet powerful exercise. Begin to deliberately step outside your comfort zone, taking small, calculated risks that challenge your fear of disapproval. This could involve sharing an unconventional idea in a meeting, expressing a personal opinion on social media, or experimenting with a new style of clothing that pushes your boundaries. With each act of defiance, each small step you take beyond the confines of your self-imposed limitations, you train your mind to prioritize internal alignment over external validation. Seek out and cultivate relationships with individuals who genuinely support your growth, who value your authenticity over your conformity, and who encourage you to embrace your unique gifts and talents. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your courage to be yourself, rather than those who seek to mold you into a more palatable version of their own expectations. Remember, true belonging stems from mutual respect and appreciation, not from the suppression of your authentic self to fit into a predefined mold. At the end of your days, what will matter most? Will it be the accolades and approval you garnered from others, or the profound satisfaction of having lived a life true to your own values and desires? This question cuts through the noise and reminds you of the fleeting nature of external judgments compared to the enduring impact of your own choices. The judgments you fear today will likely fade into oblivion tomorrow, but the choices you make for yourself, the actions you take to honor your own truth, will resonate throughout your life. Overcoming the fear of others' opinions is not about severing ties with the world around you, retreating into a fortress of self-absorption. It is about shifting the center of gravity in your life, placing your own voice, your own values, and your own well-being at the heart of your decisions. It is about cultivating the inner strength to navigate the world with authenticity, with courage, and with an unwavering commitment to living a life that is truly your own. In the intricate tapestry of our lives, the threads of human connection are interwoven, shaping our experiences and influencing our well-being. Yet, among these threads, some may become frayed, tangled, or even toxic, silently eroding our sense of self-worth and draining our emotional energy. This brings us to the second subtle shift, cutting out toxic relationships. We've all heard the adage that we become the average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. But what happens when some of those individuals consistently undermine our confidence, invalidate our feelings, or leave us feeling depleted and diminished? Toxic relationships are often insidious, manifesting not as dramatic conflicts or overt negativity, but as a persistent undercurrent of tension, subtle criticisms, or one-sided connections where we perpetually give and rarely receive. The insidious nature of toxic relationships lies in their ability to slowly erode our well-being, creating an emotional environment where we feel anxious, unappreciated, and even trapped. Over time, this can lead to decreased self-esteem, reduced motivation, increased stress levels, and a diminished sense of joy in our lives. Yet, many of us cling to these draining connections, bound by feelings of guilt, fear of confrontation, or simply the inertia of familiarity. Cutting out toxic relationships does not necessitate dramatic pronouncements or scorched-earth tactics. In fact, one of the most potent and self-respecting approaches is to quietly and intentionally distance ourselves, gradually reducing our engagement with those who consistently bring negativity or chaos into our lives and consciously investing more time and energy in relationships that uplift, support, and nurture our growth. But how do we identify these toxic relationships in the first place? The key lies in paying close attention to how we feel after spending time with certain individuals. Do we consistently leave their presence feeling drained, anxious, small, or as though we've been walking on eggshells, carefully navigating their moods and sensitivities? If the answer is yes, it is a clear indication that the relationship may be doing more harm than good. Healthy relationships, in contrast, should leave us feeling energized, supported, accepted for who we are, and empowered to pursue our goals. They should be sources of joy, inspiration, and genuine connection. The Stoics teach the importance of maintaining inner peace, so consider people who are taking away from that. The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. It doesn't mean you immediately cut them out, but it is important to set some boundaries with those who consistently bring negativity into your life. Boundaries are about protecting your peace. For instance, you can limit the conversations with friends who always bring drama. It's also important to remember that some relationships can be fixed through open communication. Sometimes, open conversations about how one feels can help in that. The insidious nature of habits, those ingrained patterns of behavior that often operate outside our conscious awareness, can exert a subtle yet profound influence on our lives. This brings us to the third subtle shift: breaking free from destructive habits. While some habits serve us well, supporting our goals and enhancing our well-being, others can quietly chip away at our peace, productivity, and overall quality of life. Destructive habits are not merely time wasters, they are energy drainers, self-discipline underminers, and silent saboteurs that prevent us from living the life we truly desire. These patterns might seem innocuous on the surface: mindlessly scrolling through social media late at night, procrastinating on important tasks, or indulging in comfort food when stressed. But over time, these seemingly harmless behaviors can accumulate, creating a drag on our progress and diminishing our sense of self-control. Breaking free from these destructive patterns begins with the crucial step of self-awareness. Many of these habits have become so ingrained that they operate on autopilot, executed without conscious thought or intention. The first step, therefore, is to bring these behaviors into the light of awareness, identifying the specific patterns that are undermining your well-being and hindering your progress. This requires honest self-reflection and a willingness to confront the behaviors that you may have been unconsciously avoiding. Ask yourself, what habits consistently leave me feeling worse afterward? What behaviors are holding me back from achieving my goals? What patterns are draining my energy and diminishing my sense of self-worth? Once you have identified these destructive habits, you can begin the process of consciously eliminating them and replacing them with more supportive and life-affirming behaviors. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-mastery, the ability to control our desires and impulses rather than being controlled by them. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This does not mean striving for unattainable perfection or engaging in harsh self-denial. Rather, it means cultivating the inner strength to make conscious choices, to prioritize long-term well-being over fleeting gratification, and to align our actions with our values and goals. One effective strategy for breaking destructive habits is to replace them with more positive alternatives. Instead of simply trying to stop a particular behavior, identify a more constructive activity that can fulfill the same need or craving. For example, if you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your phone when you're bored, try picking up a book, going for a walk, or engaging in a creative activity instead. The goal is not to create a void, but to fill that space with something that nourishes your mind, body, or spirit. Start small, be patient, and celebrate your progress. Over time, these small wins will accumulate, creating a virtuous cycle of positive reinforcement and increasing your confidence in your ability to transform your habits and reclaim your life. The fourth subtle shift tackles a pervasive source of stress and anxiety, letting go of the need to control everything. In a world that often promotes the illusion of mastery and predictability, the desire to control every aspect of our lives can become a powerful and deeply ingrained drive. We strive to manage every detail of our work, our relationships, our finances, and even the outcomes of events that are inherently beyond our reach. But this relentless pursuit of control, while often motivated by a desire for security and success, can paradoxically lead to increased stress, anxiety, and a profound sense of disappointment. The truth is that life is inherently unpredictable, and clinging to the illusion of control only sets us up for frustration when things inevitably deviate from our carefully laid plans. Letting go of the need to control everything does not mean becoming passive, indifferent, or abandoning our goals. Rather, it means shifting our focus from the external world, which is often beyond our influence, to our internal world, where we have the power to shape our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. This principle lies at the very heart of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, a revered Stoic teacher, famously stated, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." This simple yet profound distinction provides a powerful framework for navigating the complexities of life with greater clarity and equanimity. The Stoics taught that we should direct our energy toward cultivating what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, while accepting the uncertainty of external events with grace and resilience. Imagine, for example, that you are stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You cannot control the traffic, nor can you magically teleport yourself to your destination. You have reached a point where you are no longer in control of the event that is occurring, but you can control how you react to it. You can choose to get angry, honk your horn, and stress yourself out, or you can choose to take a deep breath, accept the situation, and use the time to listen to a podcast, practice mindfulness, or mentally prepare for your meeting. The external outcome remains the same, you are still stuck in traffic, but your internal experience shifts dramatically based on where you choose to focus your energy. Unrealistic expectations, those silent architects of disappointment and frustration, can subtly undermine our happiness and prevent us from fully appreciating the present moment. This brings us to the fifth subtle shift, releasing unrealistic expectations. Whether it's expecting people to always behave in a certain way, assuming that success should come quickly and easily, or believing that life should unfold without setbacks or challenges, these unacknowledged expectations create a constant chasm between our idealized vision of reality and the messy, unpredictable nature of life as it actually is. At some point, we have all fallen into this trap. Perhaps you expected a friend to offer a certain type of support, only to feel hurt and disappointed when they did not. Or perhaps you set an overly ambitious goal for yourself, only to feel like a failure when progress did not materialize as quickly as you had hoped. The problem is that we attach ourselves too tightly to a specific, narrowly defined outcome, forgetting that life is a dynamic and ever-changing process, full of unforeseen twists and turns. Stoicism, with its emphasis on acceptance and adaptability, provides a powerful antidote to the tyranny of unrealistic expectations. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, you do not have control over the outcomes, but you do control your mind and reactions. By releasing unrealistic expectations, we open ourselves up to experiencing life as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. We relinquish the need to control every detail and embrace the freedom to flow with the currents of change. The sixth subtle shift addresses a common human tendency that can sow discord and undermine relationships, letting go of the need to always be right. How often have you found yourself embroiled in a heated argument, unable to yield, compelled to prove your point at all costs? The desire to be right, while seemingly aligned with the pursuit of truth, can often morph into a quest for ego validation, a subconscious need to assert our intellectual superiority and protect our sense of self-worth. When we tie our sense of self-worth to being right, we inadvertently create unnecessary tension in our relationships, elevate our stress levels, and lose sight of what truly matters, fostering understanding, maintaining harmony, and cultivating inner peace. The problem with always needing to be right is that it transforms every disagreement into a battle, a win-lose scenario where the primary objective is to vanquish the opposing viewpoint rather than to seek mutual understanding. This combative approach not only damages relationships, creating resentment and animosity, but also drains emotional energy, leaving us feeling depleted and disconnected. The irony is that even when we win the argument, the victory often feels hollow, devoid of genuine satisfaction, because it comes at the cost of harmony, respect, and connection. Letting go of the need to always be right does not mean relinquishing your beliefs, abandoning your principles, or ceasing to stand up for what you believe in. It means choosing your battles wisely, discerning when it is more important to preserve a relationship, to foster understanding, or to maintain inner peace than to prove a point or assert your intellectual dominance. Stoicism offers a timeless lesson on humility. The Stoics believe that true wisdom comes from humility, the willingness to listen, to learn, and to admit when you may be wrong. Epictetus taught it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. By letting go of this need to always be right, this is what helps one open up to new perspectives, and to improve. There are people who are able to acknowledge everyone, and what they think, and the Stoics state that this builds lasting respect. In our hyper-connected world, a relentless barrage of notifications, messages, and updates constantly vie for our attention, creating a sense of digital overload and subtly eroding our capacity for focus, reflection, and inner peace. This leads us to the seventh subtle shift, silencing the digital noise. Every beep, buzz, and alert demands our immediate attention, pulling us away from the task at hand, disrupting our train of thought, and leaving us feeling perpetually distracted and fragmented. While technology has undoubtedly brought countless conveniences and opportunities to our lives, it has also spawned a digital cacophony that can clutter our minds, drain our energy, and disconnect us from the present moment. If left unchecked, this constant stream of information and stimulation can contribute to increased stress, anxiety, and a pervasive sense of overwhelm. The insidious nature of digital noise lies in its ability to consume not only our time but also our mental space. When we are constantly plugged in, bombarded with information, and responding to a never-ending stream of demands, our minds never get a chance to truly rest, to recharge, and to engage in deep reflection. We may believe that we are staying informed, productive, and connected, but in reality, we are often overstimulating our brains, reducing our ability to concentrate and diminishing our capacity for creative thought. Silencing the digital noise does not necessitate a complete abandonment of technology. It simply means learning to use technology intentionally and mindfully, rather than allowing it to control us. It means setting boundaries, establishing healthy habits, and consciously choosing to disconnect from the digital world in order to reconnect with ourselves, with our loved ones, and with the present moment. The eighth subtle shift recognizes that our inner landscape is not always a serene vista, but can often be marred by the shadows of negativity, transforming negative thoughts into positive ones. Negative thoughts, those insidious whispers of self-doubt, worry, and criticism, possess a remarkable ability to infiltrate our minds and take root, gradually transforming our perception of ourselves, our circumstances, and the world around us. They often begin as fleeting moments of unease or mild dissatisfaction, but if left unchecked, they can escalate into a persistent mental loop, a self-perpetuating cycle of negativity that drains our energy, clouds our judgment, and makes life feel significantly heavier than it truly is. The truth, often obscured by the intensity of these negative thoughts, is that our thoughts shape our reality. What are you constantly feeding your mind? If we are constantly feeding our minds with negativity, we become more susceptible to anxiety, fear, and overwhelm. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we interpret and respond to those events. In other words, the key to unlocking a more fulfilling and joyful life lies in our ability to consciously transform our negative thought patterns into more constructive, empowering, and life-affirming ones. Marcus Aurelius knew the importance of a healthy mind as stated, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." What you think of most of the time becomes the substance of your being. The essence of this concept is that you can change how you experience life. What is important, is to know how to look at bad situations from a different perspective. The ninth subtle shift acknowledges that our external surroundings can mirror our internal state, clearing physical and mental clutter. Have you ever noticed how a cluttered desk, a messy room, or an overflowing inbox can contribute to a sense of mental chaos and overwhelm? Clutter, whether physical or mental, creates a form of noise in our lives, a constant stream of visual or cognitive distractions that drains our energy, disrupts our focus, and makes it harder to feel calm and centered. That's why clearing both physical and mental clutter is essential for creating a space, both internal and external, where clarity, peace, and intentionality can thrive. Let's begin with physical clutter, the tangible accumulation of possessions that often overwhelms our living and working spaces. When our environment is disorganized, messy, and overflowing with unnecessary items, our brains have to constantly process and filter all of that visual information, even if we are not consciously aware of it. This constant sensory input can increase stress, reduce our ability to concentrate, and create a general sense of unease. Ask yourself, do the things in my space add value to my life, or are they just taking up space? Clearing physical clutter is about creating space. When you have achieved this space, a sense of relief will be noticed. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Clearing mental clutter is about letting go of unnecessary worries and distractions so you can focus your energy on what truly matters. This is what helps someone simplify what truly matters. The 10th subtle shift, the final piece in our journey of quiet transformation, addresses a pervasive source of discontentment and diminished self-worth, escaping the trap of unnecessary comparisons. In a world saturated with social media, where carefully curated highlight reels of other people's lives are constantly thrust before our eyes, it's easy to fall into the comparison trap. We see someone's new job, new relationship, or exotic vacation splashed across our screens, and suddenly our own lives feel less exciting, less accomplished, and somehow less worthy. But this habit is a dangerous trap to fall into and can cause harm. A life of intention, forged in quiet strength. Life is rarely as smooth as you think it should be. Things such as destructive habits, fear, and toxic relationships quietly shape our lives, so by removing these, you will quietly create your life. These principles teach how to let go of the fear of others, how to distance yourself from those who are toxic, and more. This is the way to grow and transform oneself. True transformation is not always easily visible to others, but in making a positive impact on one's life, this will create a space for peace of mind and fulfillment. Make decisions that improve and change your life. In doing this, you need to let go. This will help you focus and improve your life for the long term. Remember, this is your life and your path is your own. You do not need approval from anyone, and you do not need to explain yourself to anyone. The decision you make will bring you closer to living with more freedom, less stress, and a deeper sense of self-respect. True transformation is not about a revolution but rather a deliberate evolution, not just about making a change, but about creating a better lifestyle.